Hello again, and welcome to Cross-Cultural and Global Communication. I'm Yogesh, and I'm joined once again by my insightful co-host, Lily.
Hi, everyone. In today's episode, we're unpacking something all global professionals face but rarely get training on: managing conflict and misunderstandings across cultures.
Conflict is inevitable, even healthy when working across differences. But the way conflict is expressed, avoided, or resolved varies dramatically by culture.
Absolutely. For instance, what's seen as open dialogue in one country might be perceived as rude or confrontational in another.
Let's break it down using two frameworks: confrontational versus avoidance-based cultures, and low context versus high context communication.
Right. In confrontational cultures, like the Netherlands, Germany, Israel, and the US, speaking your mind is valued. Disagreements are viewed as part of progress.
In avoidance cultures like Japan, Korea, Indonesia, or many parts of Africa, maintaining harmony is key. Open conflict can be seen as disrespectful.
And then there's the low context versus high context spectrum. In low context cultures like Canada or Australia, people are expected to say exactly what they mean. Words carry the full message.
Whereas in high context cultures like China, India, or Saudi Arabia, much is communicated through tone, pauses, body language, or what's not said.
Let's imagine a scenario. A British manager gives feedback to a Japanese employee. This section might need some improvement. The manager thinks they've been polite, but clear.
But the Japanese employee might interpret that as serious criticism, possibly even personal disappointment, because of how much meaning is read between the lines in high context settings.
So misunderstandings aren't just about language. They're about the cultural lens we use to interpret language.
Now, when conflict arises, how do we respond effectively across cultures?
First, pause and recognize your default conflict style. Are you direct or indirect? Do you value clarity over harmony, or vice versa?
Second, ask yourself, how is this culture likely to view confrontation? Will being assertive resolve the issue or escalate it?
And third, practice curiosity over judgment. Say, help me understand how this came across, instead of, why did you say that?
Let's also talk about silence. In Western cultures, silence often feels awkward and is filled quickly. But in many Asian cultures, silence can mean thoughtfulness, respect, or a signal to rethink.
In negotiations especially, silence might be a strategy or simply part of the rhythm of communication.
Let's share an example. A French team was working with a Chinese vendor. During a meeting, the vendor disagreed but remained silent.
The French team interpreted the silence as agreement. Later, when the vendor didn't follow through, trust broke down. What was missing? A mutual understanding of how disagreement is expressed or not expressed.
And that brings us to the idea of saving face. In many cultures, especially in Asia and Latin America, protecting one's dignity is vital.
Publicly calling someone out, even with good intentions, might lead to deep embarrassment. That's not just a momentary discomfort, it can damage long-term trust.
So feedback and conflict resolution must be culturally sensitive. You might use indirect phrases, private conversations, or even third-party mediators.
We should also distinguish between task conflict and relationship conflict.
Yes, task conflict, debates over ideas, processes, or timelines, can be healthy and even necessary.
But relationship conflict, when things get personal, can erode trust and morale quickly.
Great global teams learn how to have productive task conflict without letting it slip into personal territory.
Let's share a model our listeners can use for the cross-cultural conflict. The LEARN model. L is listen actively without interrupting. E is empathize with their perspective. A is acknowledge your role in the misunderstanding. R is reframe the issue as a shared problem to solve. N is negotiate next steps with respect.
Love that. It's not about winning, it's about understanding and progress.
Exactly. And the more cultures involved, the more patience and clarity you need. Before we close, Yogesh, what's your biggest tip for leaders navigating multicultural conflicts?
I'd say be a cultural translator. Don't just react, explain, contextualize, bridge. Turn moments of conflict into moments of deeper connection.
So powerful. And if you're part of the conflict, pause, reflect, and ask for a reset. Most people are open to course correction if it's done respectfully.
Thanks for joining us. Keep listening, learning, and leaning into differences.
Thank you, Yogesh. Well said. And for our listeners, well said. Next episode, we look at leading multicultural teams effectively, a challenge and an opportunity every global leader faces. If you found this episode of Corporate Communication useful, don't forget to join us, leadershipacademy.tagbizsutra.com. Do share it with your friends and colleagues and leave your review. Until then, build trust with patience, presence, and heart.